Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are unraveling a dark, tangled web of family rivalries, forbidden connections, and a romance that absolutely refuses to play by the rules. But before we break down today's fascinating source material, I've got to let you know something important. If you want to experience the complete story for yourself, make sure you listen to the full audiobook. You can find the link right down in the description below. Trust me, after seeing the intense world we're unpacking today, you are going to want to hear every single word.
I'll bury you so fucking deep, you'll pray for death instead. Wow, intense, right? It perfectly sets the stage for the incredibly dark, fiercely protective romance we're examining today. Because, this is definitely not your typical lighthearted high school story. Okay, let's dive into this. We're breaking down Cruel King by New York Times best-selling author Rina Kent. Now, if you're already familiar with her massive Legacy of Gods universe, you know all about the children's stories. But today, we're taking a step back in time to explore the parents. Specifically, we're looking at Levi King and Astrid. But to really get their dynamic, we have to talk about the tragedy that binds them together.
Let's see how this all builds, because the reviewer maps out a deeply convoluted, highly tragic backstory here. So, 3 years prior to the events of the book, Astrid's mother and Levi's father were killed in a horrific car crash. And since both families are super prominent, they quietly settled their matter to avoid a massive scandal. But man, a bitter, deep-seated rivalry was born out of it. Both families blamed each other. The really dark twist the story reveals, though, is that the crash wasn't an accident. Nope. Astrid's stepmother, completely driven by jealousy and trying to secure her own daughter's status and inheritance, literally cut the brakes.
Obviously, this kind of trauma profoundly shapes our two main characters, and it sets up this fascinating psychological clash. So on one side, we have Astrid. She totally anchors herself to ghosts. She's artsy, she takes after her late mother, who was a tattoo artist. She even rocks a star tattoo that matches the sun and moon tattoos her parents had. Plus, she's got this unique obsession with Viking lore. But her fatal flaw? She is completely fixated on the past. Then on the flip side, Levi is this formidable, future-focused force of nature. We're talking a football star with a broad, really imposing build. After his dad died, he was sent to live with a cold, manipulative uncle. And the result of that, Levi has cultivated this incredibly intimidating, terrifying aura. Yet, he is fiercely focused on dragging himself and Astrid forward.
Rina Kent brilliantly uses sensory details to build this whole character duality. Take Levi's scent, for instance. The reviewer specifically points out Astrid's complete fascination with it, describing it as clean soap mixed with expensive cologne and smoke. It's an intoxicating concoction, right? It gives off this edgy, rugged vibe. And it really hits the nail on the head for who Levi is. He's polished, he's expensive, but there is an undeniable, dangerous fire burning right beneath the surface. Now, the narrative eventually pushes these characters into some incredibly dark territory. Astrid is subjected to a severe, really traumatic violation. She's drugged at a party by her vindictive stepsister, and these explicit, compromising photos of her are maliciously leaked to the entire school. Curiously enough, only Astrid's face is visible, while Levi's is blurred out, which subjects her to some terrible, targeted bullying. And look, we want to be absolutely clear here. This is a horrific act of abuse. But in the context of this dark romance, it serves as the brutal catalyst that forces the two of them into hiding, leading to these secret rendezvous at a secluded cabin the football team just calls the meetup.
It's during these isolated, high-stress moments that we really see Levi's true nature. When he is furious about the whole situation and the threats made against Astrid, he doesn't yell. The book actually notes, his voice is calm, too calm. He's frightening. The source reviewer really connected with this, pointing out how relatable and totally terrifying it is when someone's rage is just so absolute that it becomes ice cold. You can almost feel the tension in the room just reading it. His anger is basically a quiet, controlled storm, and it pulls the audience even deeper into the heavy emotional weight of their secret relationship.
Faced with all this chaos, we see a profound difference in how Levi and Astrid survive. And the crucial point is Levi's philosophy. It's brutal but simple. Stop thinking about afterwards, live in the moment. He is constantly pushing back against Astrid's anxieties. While she's drowning in the incredibly complicated history of their parents and obsessing over the fallout of their forbidden connection, Levi is entirely present. He recognizes that dwelling on a past they simply cannot change is actively destroying them.
And this stubborn clash of mindsets is exactly what frustrated the source reviewer the most. Later on in the story, Astrid discovers that Levi actually knew the truth all along. He knew her mother was driving the car that killed his father, but he chose Astrid anyway. Instead of accepting his unconditional devotion, though, Astrid pushes him away, stubbornly claiming she's bleeding while breaking his wings. The reviewer expresses some major exasperation here, pointing out that Levi was fully willing to lose his inheritance and just ignore the past completely to build a future with her. Meanwhile, Astrid stubbornly complicates the whole shebang by clinging to a tragedy she literally couldn't change.
Ultimately, though, Levi's devotion manages to break through all that stubbornness, and it brilliantly illustrates their entire dynamic. Levi says, "It's in dark nights that stars like her shine the brightest." I mean, wow. It's a beautiful, poetic callback to Astrid's star tattoo. Levi is actively embracing his role as the dark, imposing knight, the intimidating force, simply because it provides the absolute perfect canvas for Astrid to finally shine. So, bringing it all together, the reviewer awards Cruel King a really solid 4 out of 5 stars. They particularly appreciated that this book focuses intensely on a single couple, which kind of avoids that reader fatigue that sometimes happens with sprawling series about the exact same characters over and over. And Levi, with his complex mix of total darkness and unwavering devotion, he easily stood out as the favorite character. But what about the romance itself?
Well, as for the romantic intensity, the reviewer visualized the spice rating as roughly a 3 out of 5. They noted that while the physical scenes and the tension were exceptionally well written and engaging, it's noticeably tamer compared to Rina Kent's later Legacy of God series, which of course features the children of these characters. Still, it provides an absolutely crucial and captivating foundation for the larger universe.
Looking back at Astrid and Levi's completely turbulent journey, we're left with a powerful theme that resonates way beyond the pages of a dark romance. The story really forces us to examine the invisible chains of history. It highlights this profound struggle between remaining tied to the tragedies and mistakes of those who came before us, or finding the raw strength to break those chains and choose the present. It really makes you wonder, does our past permanently define us, or do we truly have the power to write our own future?
To find out exactly how Astrid and Levi navigate that heavy burden, you absolutely have to check out the source material for yourself. Hit the link in the description below to experience the full audiobook. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will catch you next time.